Now let's go to the lecture model. And the first thing we want to do is fill in the protected fillable fields. The first thing we want to put here is the duration. And let's see what we call a duration in minutes. We want the course ID, we want the section ID, we want the sort order, the title, the type of lecture, and the body. Then let's cast the type to a lecture type, okay? And so we are going to create an enum that holds the lecture types. Now, while we're here, we might as well just create a command that generates our enums, because right now we are still writing or creating enums manually, but we might as well just generate a command that we can use to generate enums, because we will be creating a bunch of other enums going forward. So PHP artisan make command generate enum, and in here we need an enum.stop, and I'll just copy over a stop for this, which we are going to go through. So we just need the namespace for an enum. Again, we're following the structure of how an enum looks like. So an enum has the namespace, the name of the enum, and then the return type and whatever else you want to put in there. So I'm going to have this stop that contains the namespace, the class name, and just an example. I'll comment this out, but I put that there just for an example. And we actually don't even need this placeholder. Or I'll leave it there just to give an example of how you can write a method in an enum, okay? So when we generate an enum, it will have all of that information. And over in our console commands here, we open the generate enum, and here we want to say name, and the command will be make enum, and we can just describe it here, create a new enum. Let's get rid of this. In fact, we can copy over what we already had in the actions, because we again are overriding the stop, and the stop here is enum, and the default folder we want to create it in is enum. So it's enums with an S. So all our enums are going to go in this folder. So again, this should extend the generator command, and we are good to go. So let's go and create an enum that will hold the lecture types. And we said lecture types can either be video or they can be text. So PHP artisan make enum lecture type, and that should have been created in here, and we just need to fill this out. So case video, and that is going to be video, then case text, that is going to be text, and that's all we need in the lecture type enum. And this is, again, we are doing this because if tomorrow we want to add more types, we can simply add it to this list without touching the database. So over in our model, what we want to do is cast the type to an enum, or to the lecture type enum. So protected cast, and we want to cast the type to lecture type class. While we are here, we might as well also cast the duration in minutes to a floating value, and then that's it. Then let's move on to the relationships. So we said a lecture belongs to a course and belongs to a section. So public function course return this belongs to course class. A lecture also belongs to a section, so section, and we'll say it belongs to section class. And over in the respective course and section models, we want the inverse of those relationships. So over here, public function lectures. So we're going to return this has many, which is the inverse of belongs to lecture class. And in the sections model, we also want to have that relationship. So public function lectures, return this has many lecture class. Okay, so our model is all set up. While we're here, let's quickly also generate a resource for our lectures. So PHP artisan, make resource, lecture resource, and we'll fill that in when we need it. All right, run our migrations, and let's run our migrations. PHP artisan, migrate to create the lectures table in the database, and we are good. So we have a base model and the migrations for lectures. And in the next lesson, we'll start looking at the methods in the controllers and actions.